To talk more about ways to combat poverty, I'm joined now by Josefina Stubbs, who is the head of the International Fund for Agricultural Development. Thank you so much for joining us. We've been hearing a lot today about the problems with poverty and indeed those caused by climate change. What is your particular cause and how you think that we are going to combat this?
Thank you very much for this interview. We do believe that humanitarian crises are also the result of the need to invest in communities, in economics, in people, really getting a better livelihood so that they are more resilient and they can sort of sustain situations of crisis. The International Fund for Agricultural Development has been working in the rural sector for over 40 years, and the lesson we have learned is that when you invest in people in the rural sector, they are more resilient to conflict, to crisis, to humanitarian situations.
And we were speaking just before this interview about some really interesting and quite successful initiatives that you've set up. Are you able to talk us through those and perhaps how they can be continued further if this summit is indeed successful?
Well, indeed. Smallholder farmers in the world produce 80% of the food that is consumed in the world. It means for IFAD it is absolutely essential to support smallholder farmers to produce better food and to produce more food, to have access to technology, to have access to resources to invest, to have access to land, to have access to irrigation. And we believe that when the farmers can have access to the basic assets that they need to produce, they make a contribution to their communities and to their countries. But also let me say that in the rural sector, we do not only have agriculture, we also have enterprises, which are absolutely essential to generate employment. In the Middle East region, 45% of the young people are aspiring to migrate. That means there are no sufficient opportunities for them, and those opportunities need to be created in order for development to be inclusive and to be sustainable.
We're nearing the end of day one of this summit. There has been some criticism that it won't actually achieve much. It's simply a talk fest. As someone who has been in the height of all of those meetings throughout the day, what's your take on that?
I believe this meeting is very important. One, because it sort of widens the awareness of the public about what the situation is, and we need it. Two, because overcoming crisis is a collective effort, and we have here the government, we have UN agencies, we have international agencies, we have civil societies, and we need them all in order to overcome the problems. But also, there are commitments that are being made in this meeting, and those commitments make us all accountable. Commitments for investing resources, commitment to create the conducive policies, commitment for giving communities the possibility to participate and be part of any reconstruction process that will be needed in the future.
And from being in these meetings, do you get a sense that there is a general goodwill towards actually achieving something in this summit?
Well, definitely. 15 years ago, we had the Millennium Development Goals, and there was a similar attitude then. 15 years later, we have seen poverty have across the globe precisely because government, civil society, and international agencies came together to one specific objective, which was reduce poverty. And so I'm confident that there is no reason why we should not see results also from this conference.
Josefina Stubbs, thank you so much for joining us.